Joe here with Acroboat Cabinets. Today I'm going to show you our shop. We have a cabinet manufacturing facility here, and we manufacture cabinets using the one-piece flow system, or lean manufacturing, if that's what you want to call it. So we're very proud of what we have here. So I'm going to show you all what we have. First thing you're going to notice about the shop is how clean it is. Probably the first thing you're going to notice about the clean is that the floor is absolutely clean. There's no dust, corners on the machines. There's no scraps of wood laying around. Everything has its own place. We're going to start over here with the beginning of our manufacturing line, and that starts in this area. You can see the red lines on the floor. Red line marks off the first area here, which is the face frames and doors. That's where they get manufactured. When you start here on this shelf, outside the office is the folder. And in this folder, there's a 3D on the front, and it shows you which one of these cabinets you're building. And each section has its own color, so everything is color coded. So the doors are blue. So door cutlass. Face frames are purple. Face frame cutlass. And then there is sanding. Sanding is yellow. And finish for the finish room is green, and assembly is pink. And everything that you need to know about this cabinet is highlighted. If there's anything special that needs to happen to the face frame, it will be highlighted. If there's a finished end on the face frame, it will be highlighted. If there are any custom pieces over here, it will be highlighted. So the man working this area takes the book and cuts out the pieces for the doors off of the lumber rack. We have, most of the time we use maple. So maple up here, and there's this is oak, and that is cherry, and we've got some pine in there. We don't use pine very often, and there's some alder. Pieces get cut for width. We have standard widths. We have standard widths are inch and a half, inch and 3/4, and 2.5. So things get cut for standard width on the saw. Get cut for length, these are for doors, and then they get run through the shaper. And everything about the shaper, everything about the setup, has been standardized. From the way that you set your knives up on the spindle, to your settings for your dial readout. Down here you've got these sticks go back here. These are your spacers, so that when you change from one style to the next, there's no guesswork. There's no running test pieces. Change out usually takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes. And if you're in a hurry, you can cut it way down. So this machine is what we run. Most of the time we're using shaker style, which is flat panel. So all we have to do is keep that's set in there. This shaper has a door edge and panel cutter set up in that one. You can see here the setup, the spindle setup, and here are all your dial readouts for the panel and door edge. Everything is standardized. There's no guesswork. It makes it very nice for teaching someone. And then when the doors get milled, they come over here, and you have your door spacers and glue brushes. So all your tools are set right here. Everything you'll need. There's your door clamp. So it cuts out the doors, glues one door up, and then goes back over and cuts out the face frame. The face frame again has standard widths. These are standard widths, and when you cut them on the saw, you cut them at 1/8 inch big, run them through the planer. And the way this works is you have number 1 for 1.5 inches, and basically you just turn this up, slide this in, lower it down to where it's snug, and one side through, pick up the next one, lower it down to this setting. No guesswork, everything works really smooth. There's no having to pull a tape measure or calipers to try to make sure it's perfect, it's right every single time. When the frames are cut, you walk over here, it's a face frame table, and it's where the frames get assembled. There's the Craig plug a hole machine we use to assemble frames. Once the frames get assembled, they come over here to what we call a buffer zone, and the frames go in pocket with the doors. When the doors are finished, the doors go in the same pocket with the frame, and the folder goes on top with the frame. And you'll notice that we've now moved on to sanding. Those papers, the blue and the purple papers, got taken out of the folder, and they were placed over here in this folder right beside the saw. And what this does is, if we ever have to go back and check something, all the paperwork for the doors, for every single cabinet that gets built, is in this folder. Everything's there. And it's really nice when you have to rebuild something. I've already had to rebuild doors that weren't built right over there in assembly, and it's just really nice to be able to come back here, flip through the book, find the right cabinet. There's no going back in the office and printing off new paperwork. It's all right there. This is the panel clamps. That rack folds down. Those clamps fit into the rack, and we use that for gluing up raised panel doors. That's the break area over there. These couches, and countertop and stuff. And over here is sanding, and the man working here in this section, you'll see the red line, shows you exactly where sanding is. They'll pick up the folder, and again, make note if there's anything special that needs to happen to this cabinet. We're doing some pretty basic stuff right now, so it's basically a frame and 2 doors. Run the doors and frame through the sander to this sander, edge sand them, and if they need a door profile edge put on, we'll go back over to that shaper and run the door edge profile. There's a downdraft table, and here again, there's everything's labeled 100 grit, 150, 220. You've got chisels, air blower, putty knife. Everything is silhouetted. Your sandpaper, your putties, sander and router. You'll notice there's nothing here that you're not going to use somewhere else, or that is just extra sitting around here. Everything in here gets used, and everything has a place. And then when he's done sanding, he puts everything over in this buffer zone. And as you see here, this cabinet, the little drawer base, has a lot of parts to it, is all ready to go in the finish room. Here's the folder, and again, the paperwork for sanding was taken out. And now this one is ready for the finish room, just with the green paperwork. If there are drawers to be built, this is the drawer building station. We do undermount. We use undermount slides on everything. So this is what we use to groove the bottoms. Sometimes we have to use 1/2 inch bottoms, so we have this saw to do that. There's a little downdraft sanding table that is hooked up to the vacuum. This is the assembly table for the drawers, and again, it's all the tools you need, nothing extra. Everything is right there. A little glue bottle, nails. There's no guesswork. And then we go into the finish room. These carts have all the parts that get finished on them, and the paperwork is right here. All the information is on that paperwork. Spurgeon's a little bit of a mess. Usually it gets cleaned out a couple times a week as well, but he was pretty busy this weekend, so I guess it didn't happen. Over here is where we mix up all our finish, stain, paint. There's all the stains, and over here you have a box where you can put a paint can and grab a label off of here, write what the name of the job and the paint color on that can, and put it up here. And then everything is labeled as it needs to be. There's the paint system. Again, there's a system here where you have 2 buckets, and everything's color coded. This paint gun is red. They look exactly alike. This one's red, this one's yellow, and out here the guns are labeled yellow and red. So you don't have to be like pulling the lines out trying to figure out which pump you're using. It's automatically right there. And then moving over to assembly. These carts are finished. This is where the finished carts are along that red line. And of course everything on here is finished. Here's the paperwork. And this is where I work. I'm floor manager, so the guy working doors and frames and the guy sanding and the guy in the finish room, I kind of keep track of what all is going on. And I have a good view of everything right here at this table. This is the assembly paperwork. Here are all the pieces that need to be cut out for this cabinet. Again, got a 3D to show where the cabinet is and how the doors get hinged. I'll put my clipboard here on the panel saw and cut all my pieces out for length on here, width on that saw. This is my 1/4 inch, 3/4. Down there's 1/2 inch plywood for drawers. And over here, everything has place, everything's labeled. Got my 2 battery chargers, my drawer clips, door hinge plates and hinges, screws, all of my screwdriver adjustment that I need for the hinges, and these are all different hinges. These are 21-inch hinges, slides, 18-inch slides. Everything's labeled. 21, 18, 15s are here. There's some 12 inches down here. This is tape for the adjustable shelves. Down here I've got drills and some spacers for my toe. Putting toe on the cabinets. And again, there's no extra tools. There's no guessing where things go. Everything has its place. So yeah, that's how it works here. Over here is our staging area for installation. This is a job. We just took out 2 kitchens last week, so it's a little bit empty. A lot of times that's full, stacked full. This is a laundry room and kitchen for another customer that has a bunch of different colors and different kinds of wood and stuff. So everything is shrink wrapped and has the customer name and the cabinet number on it, so there's no guessing when you get to the job where this cabinet goes. This is our shrink wrap contraption. Put the cabinet on there, screw it to see all the little screw holes. Screw it from the bottom, mash the pedal, goes around, holds your shrink wrap. It's really cool, it looks really good. Good way not to have to pay $3,000 for a commercially built one. So yeah, that's the state, and you see the 3 mop buckets there. Twice a week, we blow out the shop and mop the floors with those buckets. There's 3 of us in here, and it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to blow out twice a week and mop. And then those 2 days are Tuesdays and Thursdays. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we just sweep up around the machines with brooms. Like I said, last week was messed up because we had a bunch of installations, so yesterday it got mopped. These are plywood carts. This is maple, 1/4 inch plywood we use for doors, 3/4 inch we use for finished ends. This cart is for oak. Yeah, oak and alder. This cart has some cherry and walnut on it. Again, those pieces we get used for doors and finished ends. So, and those are all carts, so they can when we clean out, everything gets pulled into this area, and we blow out and mop that area. You push the carts back and keep on blowing out. We have a really good system for cleaning up. One of those doors over there, the walk-in door there, gets opened. That fan, again, this is a whole system. This is part of the lean mindset, is making everything easily accessible and not hard to understand. This fan swings over. This chock goes underneath the fan. Took it a while. Plug the fan in. This piece goes up above the fan like that. That fan pulls in. Hey, come on, focus. There we go. That fan then pulls air through that door, and I usually open those windows and that roll-up door just a little bit, and it creates a breeze that pulls everything through. That all the dust goes through that fan. There's no dust flying around the air. So then that easily folds back against the wall. Over here is what we call a custom corner. Anything that is not standard, that can't go through the system, gets manufactured over here. Got float lamps, a whole pile of them, routers, drill press, there's extra screws, and that's kind of what this is used for. It's a custom corner. Like I said, most of our custom pieces are modular, so they get built separate from the cabinet and then fastened onto the cabinet, onto a standard upper or lower when they go out on the job. So that is our cabinet manufacturing facility. We have right now we're doing about 3 cabinets a day, and what that means is 3 cabinets get done in the face frame and doors, 3 cabinets get sanded, 3 cabinets go through the finish room, 3 cabinets come off of the assembly and get stacked. There are about 6 on those carts. There can be anywhere from 9 to 12 cabinets in the system at one time. And we have manufactured as many as 6 cabinets in one day. Back when we had a lot going. Right now we're just a tad bit slow, so we're not pushing it really hard. But we can do up to 6 cabinets a day with 4 guys on the floor. Guy doing doors and frames, guy sanding, guy in the finish room, guy doing assembly, and there's 2 people in the office to keep the paperwork coming out, do installation, that kind of thing. So it works really good, and our system has been this way for about a year now, and when mistakes happen, it's very easy to just pull that cabinet out of the system, bring it back to wherever it needs to be to get the problem fixed and keep it running through. And when you're doing everything batch and queue, when you're building a whole kitchen at one time and you have a mistake, everything is held up. Just say you have a finishing problem, the whole kitchen is held up because of that finishing problem. If you have a problem and a mistake building doors, the whole kitchen is held up. This way, you're doing one cabinet at a time. The processes are all basic You do them multiple times a day. There's just no guesswork with this. There's just no guesswork. We're very proud, very, very excited about what we have. The potential here. We just, like I said, the system's been this way for about a year. We're just now getting on our feet. We went from a one-man shop to having 7 guys in the shop, and that's just a really painful process. So we're just now getting on our feet from that, and we still have a long way to go. At some point we're going to paint the floors. At some point we need to redo our air system. Is kind of a mess. The vacuum system's kind of a mess, but it all works. But some of these things that help with keeping things neat and orderly and clean all work together to make the whole process better. And this is something that's really hard for a lot of shops to get, is that cleanliness is what makes things happen. When you have a dirty shop, it messes with your mind, and it makes it really difficult to concentrate and do your job efficiently. I'm going to show you the office real quick. It is kind of a mess. I don't think I had much time last week to keep this place very clean, but this is where the guy draws up the cabinet sits. He measures, goes out and measures, draws up the job, and sends them over to this guy sitting here, and he takes each cabinet individually and writes and prints up the cut lists and everything, assembles all the paperwork here, puts them in the folders, and puts them out on that shelf out there. Up here, these are all jobs that we have either in the process of building or finishing up from this black folder over. Everything about the job is in every folder, all the details, the contract, everything. So you're not fishing through file cabinets or anything. Everything's labeled. Real simple. Over here you have all your bills, taxes. Oh man, I have no idea, all kinds of stuff. But it's all filed in these folders. And so when you're needing something for payroll or bills due or something, you can just, and everything, when the mail comes in, everything gets filed through here. All the time cards go through there. It's a very simple system and really effective. And on here, this is just a 3D of the next. This is a huge kitchen we're doing, the next really big one. We just started it, and this way he can mark off as he puts the paperwork in here which cabinets are done. Keeps everything real simple. So yeah, this is what we've got here. I'd like to know what you think. Let me know. If you got any questions, be happy to answer them. Peace out.